friends, cheers. It is Take It Out Tuesday. It is a very early morning here where I live, and we are going to be working on paper clutter today, which I think is one of those secret, sneaky things in our house that add up very quickly, but we don't actually realize how much paper clutter we have until we pile it all up together and Marie Kondo it and put it in one pile and then realize, wow, we have a lot of paper clutter. So I'm going to be decluttering anything from old papers I found just sprawled in my daughter's room, crafts she's made, to doctor's notes and everything in between, even some sensitive papers. And I'm going to show you and talk you through some of the reasoning that I get rid of things and why I keep them. Now, if you are joining us on this declutter, remember to put a heart emoji down below and let us know what you are decluttering as well. So let's hop into paper clutter. All right, friends, so what I like to do when I'm going through things like paper clutter, which I don't really enjoy decluttering it, I am going to start with the hard stuff. That's just how my brain works. If I get the hard stuff done, then the easy stuff just goes faster for me. So I'm going to start with things like bills and tax stuff, things like that. Now, what I've heard and read and been told over the years is that you need to keep about 3 years. Now, if you have your own business or more complicated taxes, things like that, then it says between 6 and 7. So that's what I'm going to kind of ballpark off of. Now, I am starting my own business now, and so I know it is a little more complicated, but really that hasn't been more than a year. So I'm going to look for 3 years or less for taxes, and then I just have a bunch of other papers in this massive stack right here, and we're going to go through them. So as I look through things like old settlements for my awful Hyundai Tucson, which I'm grateful for, but would never buy again. And then these are some things that we got for taxes just this year. So I really don't want to spend too much time, but the hard thing about having paper clutter is that it does take a little bit of time. Sometimes you do actually need to open things up, look at them, see what year it was, all that junk. So this is tax information that's more recent, so I am going to go ahead and keep that stuff. These are older, so I'm not the one that does the taxes. I've done them before, but my husband usually does that, and I go ahead and I do all of the bills. So I am going to ask and see if he is comfortable getting rid of them. But these are very much older years that I can't really imagine we would need to keep them. And then I have old things like, this is my college official transcript, which I know you can ask for these things again. You do have to pay for them, which is the annoying thing. And so I think I am going to hang on to this because if I do end up wanting to get another teaching job next year, they always ask for your official transcripts, which I think is hilarious because I'm like, okay, I'm 35 going on 36 this year. I've been out of college how many years? And you know that I have so many years of teaching. Why would you even care? This is so long ago that I don't even know if I remember anything I've learned in college. But I know that I'm going to be probably searching out different things next year. So I don't want to get rid of them yet. And obviously, I think it's so funny that our Social Security card is printed in this country on a piece of toilet paper. And then you're not allowed to ever get rid of it. You have to keep it. You're not allowed to laminate it or protect it in any kind of real way. The whole thing just seems so ridiculous. Also, including our birth certificates. All of that is printed on basically tissue paper. We have, actually, this is some sentimental stuff, I guess. This is old boarding passes, but there are things that are very old. We don't need to hang on to this kind of stuff. Old COVID stuff, we don't need anymore. I would love to know what you guys feel so comfortable getting rid of. In your house when it comes to paper clutter, what kind of things are you looking at the things I'm getting rid of and having a panic attack because you would have kept them, and what you would easily get rid of that maybe I'm keeping? Because I think we're all so different. And I think the great thing is that the majority of us are very willing to just learn from each other without any kind of judgment, which I think is why I love this community at Minimalist. You guys are so intelligent, smart, but also like welcoming and kind. So, okay. These kind of things I'm keeping. Actually, some of this stuff is sentimental. I didn't realize it when I pulled it out of the box. And that's an old record that I think I'm going to take a picture of. So I'm not going to go through all the sentimental pieces right now. I'm just kind of moving them over to the side. We have like old bills from our vet, titles to our vehicle. We have to keep that. So much of this stuff I just wish would be online and you wouldn't have to worry about it. I know it's nice to have some of it actually physically have the paper for it, but sometimes you just want to be like, come on. I know we don't need all this stuff. Like these are vaccinations from when Jordan and I were both little. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask. I have no idea whether you need to keep this kind of stuff. I don't know why you would need to keep it. Like vaccination stuff. If you are somebody who really knows a lot about this stuff, then leave your comments below because I'm sure we're all very interested whether we really need to keep our vaccinations from when we were 8 months old or if that is something we can let go of. In retrospect, this probably would have been a lot easier if my husband was around and we could just do this together. So next time, that's definitely what we're gonna do. But I'm one of those people that once I start a project, I have such a hard time letting it go. So we're gonna finish doing this the best we can and just create our piles so that we can go through it later. This is our schedule from our public library, which I love our public libraries in Virginia. They're amazing. They do such great work. But they have a lot of fun classes and stuff, and I always forget to go and bring Carrie Ann. But I always circle them with high expectations. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang on to this for a minute and I'm gonna go through my phone and actually put the dates of things that I want to do with Carrie Ann into my phone so I remember to actually go. There's such fun things like Mario night, and they'll like make things, learn Spanish night where you get to meet other people that speak Spanish and talk to them. So all sorts of cool things at our libraries. So I'm going to keep this for a little bit, but I am going to go ahead and get rid of this when I'm done writing it all down. This is another thing that it's a wedding invitation, and so I've been hanging on to this, but I know I've taken a picture of it. I'm just going to go ahead and find that picture and send it to my husband over text because luckily this wedding is coming up. It is in 2 weekends, so I don't really need to hang on to this anymore. I know the picture is going to be around, and so I'm just going to check on that. This is my pile of things I think we can get rid of, but I'm going to ask. And then I have a pile over here that is definitely I can get rid of. And so then I'm just going to quickly look through. I just have some old papers that were my daughter's. And when it comes to like tax stuff, the nice thing is my husband can take it to his work and they will get rid of it and shred it and all that kind of stuff because we don't have a shredder, and so we don't have to worry about that. But everything else, I am just going to put in the recycling bin. I had somebody else mention to me or ask me if I tear up the stuff. I don't. I think I'm just ready to let it go, and so it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to go back for it, but I do take pictures of stuff. So this is a pediatric dentist that we're going to start taking Carrie Ann to. So I've been hanging onto the paper, but I don't actually need this. I just need to put the phone number into my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I think the nice thing about doing these kind of paper declutters around your house is that these are all things I've thought about doing, like putting the library dates in my phone, writing down the number, putting it in my phone so I have it at all times, taking a picture of the wedding invitation so I remember where it goes and putting that on my calendar. All things I've thought about doing several times, I just haven't done them. And so now actually giving myself a moment to sit down and process and think about this. And guys, if this was not something that I'm talking, if this was something that I was just doing full force right now, this would probably take me 5 minutes. Like, come on, guys. This is stuff that you can do pretty quickly. Now, once you get into more of the sentimental stuff, it does take longer. It is a little more hard. And the taxes stuff for me is confusing. But if I go by what, I guess it was like Virginia IRS, Virginia tax forms says, it says 3 years from the tax year or 2 years from when you filed, something like that. It's online. You can see it yourself for your state or your country. I'm sure it's all different. Now, I know other countries aren't as awful about taxes as we are. It's ridiculous why it's so difficult to understand our tax system, and it's just a money-making scheme to me. I hate it. I hate the whole thing. It should be so easy. It should just be taken out of our paychecks, right? But anyway, it's very, very difficult for us little people who try to figure this stuff out, but we're going to work on it. We're going to do our best. So look up your state or where you live. It's going to tell you the information you need to know about how long you need to keep your taxes. If you're uncomfortable, keep 1 extra year just in case, and then shred the rest. That's what I'm going to do. That's my philosophy. So yes. Okay. So I have a keep pile right here. This is stuff that I know I don't even need to ask. These are things I know we need to keep. And then I have a pile of things I know I'm going to get rid of after I take a picture or write it on my calendar. And I have a few things that need to go in the sentimental bin. And here's a coupon that I want to use that I'm going to keep out. And then I have things that I'm going to ask about. So I would think about when you're doing paper clutter, create a few piles for yourself and ask yourself some really tough questions. All right, friends, so I'm going to put these papers that I know I need to keep in our lockbox. We have one downstairs where you saw I took the things out of it. It's in our big trunk, and I'm going to put them in there, but now that pile is a little bit less. I always like to make sure that it can fit in that lockbox because it is fireproof, basically anything proof, so it's great. But I'm going to go do the rest of these things that I need to get done with this paper trash, and then the rest of it, I'm going to take it out to recycling right now so that I do not forget or I don't keep it on the table for longer than it needs to be here. I think the hard thing is that with paper clutter, we can easily walk away from it. You can easily just try to hide it and brush it under the rug, but it's one of those things that adds up quickly. You don't realize what you have, and even the important things that you need, you don't know where they are if you're not keeping track of your things very well. So get some storage that is going to work for you where you can keep the important stuff, and then everything else, do a big declutter this week and get rid of it. Now, if you love learning about minimalism and decluttering, then remember to hit that subscribe button and come back for my next video. I have 3 every week, so I would love to see you guys here again. And make sure that you're letting us know what you decluttered this week.